There's a lot of ways you can do it without welding. And I wanted to talk about that. So first and foremost, the biggest question I want to tackle was, how important is it to have that thing airtight where the vertical, it's so hard to show you do this, where the vertical meets the horizontal? How important is that seal right down there? Where this is going to be a round pipe going into a rectangular piece of tubing. And how crucial is that seal? And my answer is that it's not crucial at all. And the reason for that is that it's going to very quickly become completely plugged with ash. Okay, so the first little bit of a burn, you're going to get some air coming out of there. It's not going to kill your efficiency. It's coming into the firebox in the right place. It's just not quite as, the reason we want to bring it up high is simply because the air coming out of that secondary air tubing is cooler than the air in the firebox. So we're assuming that it's falling through the column of firebox gases and getting better mixing by coming in up high. So a little air coming in down low isn't going to hurt anything, but also that any air gaps you have down there are going to quickly, over just a couple fires, get a buildup of ash over them, and they're going to plug themselves. So what you don't want is big holes there, because then ash will go down in there and start to obstruct that secondary air. But you don't need to worry about it being hermetically sealed, because it will, like a lot of places in a rocket stove, things that aren't sealed are going to seal themselves for the most part. So, hey, Chris, welcome. Nice to see you from Telluride. I sure miss Telluride. What a great spot. Anyways, so going back to the secondary air conversation. So, first and foremost, the seal doesn't really matter at the bottom. So that's first thing that's important. So, with that said, there's a couple ways you can do this, put these things together without welding that are pretty simple. So the first one is L brackets. You can find like little 3/4 inch on the side picture frame L brackets, they're called usually, or corner supports, things like that. And if you just leave your lower section a little long so you can get an L bracket on the front and the back of that vertical, that's a totally adequate way to mount that thing. You could drill and tap, and you could just fasten those L brackets to both the vertical and the horizontal. And in that way, you'd also be able to remove and replace that vertical fairly easily when it does start to deteriorate, if you're using black pipe or something that's not permanent like RA330. So that's one way you could pull that off. Another way you can do it is to let the vertical down into the horizontal, so you could oversize the hole where the vertical goes into the horizontal. And then when that vertical drops down in, you could just leave three little tabs as feet on it and remove the rest of the material that was up inside there so the air can get up into it, or some variation of that theme. And in that way, again, you could have a piece that's easy to remove and replace. Now, the one thing you want to remember is that vertical does want to protect the back of the firebox. So it wants to be durable from wood smashing into it. So you don't want it to just tip over if it's bonked. So if you do something with tabs on the bottom, sometimes it's good to kind of hammer the bottom pipe to pinch a little bit around the top and just get a little bit of a friction fit around that vertical. So there's a couple ideas on how you can do a secondary air piece without any welding. Now, there's other ways to achieve that as well, flanges and things like that. But I think those basic ways are really simple, and for most people, those are going to be adequate and get you through, get you burning. So there's the secondary air conversation.